Welcome back, everybody. This cute little art journal, I'm just crazy in love with it, and I'm having so much fun doing the jelly prints. I can't wait to show you what I did. It's going to be amazing. Normally, if you watch all the videos I did last year, they're all with bright, happy, cheerful colors. I want to show you that I do have another range. I wanted to try this time using more subdued colors, more earthy, organic colors. Now, you'd swear I was sponsored by Joggles. I'm not. They just happen to be one of my favorite go-tos for stamps, stencils, and masks. So I just finished getting these the other day in the mail. Thank goodness they arrived in time to do this video because I've been waiting for them. Really a lot of fun with these new stencils. And again, with my limited color palette, I want to show you just how wide of a range you can make a limited color palette. And I love, love, love working with textures, prints, and patterns and mixing them up. And that's what we're going to do. I've got the three that I like the best that I pulled out, and I've got bubble wrap. And I've got four colors. I've got white, doesn't matter which white, iridescent bronze, Payne's gray, and sepia. And the Payne's gray and the sepia together are what I call my black. They make a really dark color, and I prefer something like that versus using the flat black. So, and plus all of these colors, you will soon see how they blend and mix. By the time this is done, you're going to see that all these prints that I make, every single one of them are going to work complementary to each other in this art journal because they are all derived from the same 3 or 4 colors. And then I'll bring in, later on, I'll bring in an accent color. But I just want to show you the absolute variety you can get from it. Now I've got a brand new brayer there. It's brand new rubber. And I had a little fun playing around with it later, and I'll show you why. Look what happens when you mix the sepia with the Payne's gray. It becomes a dark green. So that just goes to show you how you can use a limited color palette and have a wide range of colors. Look how fun that is, even just rolling it off onto a paper. Lots of fun. So you're going to see, also I wanted to show you how the colors are reacting because they're very fluid and translucent. They separate a little bit once you brayer them onto the gel plate, and I think that's fun. Already in itself, it's making a fantastic pattern and print amongst the pattern and print that's coming from the mask. So I'm just going to try to show you a speeded up version so you don't get bored. So what I do is I speed up and edit out some of this part here where I spread it around and around and around with my hand to press it while it's drying. Look at that. It's not only picked up the pattern from the stencil mask, but you can see extra patterns there within and around it because of how it reacted to the surface of the jelly plate. So much fun. Now this is the ghost print, which is the opposite now because these masks, look at that, just crazy, crazy in love with that. It looks like amoebas. It looks so organic. It's translucent. Part of it is dark, part of it disappears. I love it. Crazy in love with this. You can't get that effect by using a heavy paint. A heavy paint would have just lifted it off as the stencil and mask looks, but I like playing with pattern and seeing what we can do and translucent colors. And these high flow acrylics and fluid acrylics that I use, these golden acrylics, are amazing. I get so much use out of them. I haven't, other than white, I don't even use heavy paste paint anymore. Look at that. So much fun. You can't get that without jelly plate printing, and you can't get that without just taking chances. And every time you pull it up, you're never quite sure what you're going to get. And that's what I love about my technique is the organic qualities of it and the fact that you get these happy surprises that you couldn't even plan on. It just shows you that the sky's the limit. So many things can happen. Even mistakes end up being happy accidents. So I've got the sepia, and this time I'm using it with the bronze, the iridescent bronze. That iridescent bronze is fairly heavy paste compared to the other paints, and you can see that it goes on very opaque. And also notice I am I'm rolling it around so that it isn't perfect. I want it to disappear in some areas and not be perfect roller of a color on the plate. I love how it morphs and moves around the plate. And again, you can see some of that activity where the gold paint is reacting to the gel plate and becoming little bubbles or little marks, like watermarks, and I love that. I couldn't have thought of painting that, it just happens. So I've edited out the wait time for me spreading that around with my hand, just so you don't get bored. Look at this. Every pull is an amazing surprise. That's very iridescent, fairly opaque gold. I like how organic the shapes got when I lifted off that stencil. That's fun. And that's because it's reacting to brand new stencils. That's what that is. I think once I use these stencils more often, it won't give you these amoebic looking, cellular looking marks, but I'm sure enjoying it while it's happening. So much fun. I've got my white, and what I did with this bottle of white, it's fluid white, and I found previously it's very, very, very fluid. So I added a little bit of heavy paste white in with that and shook it up. So what I'm doing is putting a heavy coat of that on because I'm just trying to lift that ghost print off the plate. If it ends up that it looks like a nice white print, I can use it in the book. But my purpose right now is just to lift all that excess pattern that was on the gel plate. So as I was saying, I took my fluid white, I added some heavier paste white, and I shook it up really well. And that way it's not so wet when I put it down on the gel plate. But this is fun, you know, it's not as if I love this style, but with this book being all the different colors, and I will want to have areas where I have some white in there, who knows, I might end up using that. You just never know. I keep everything. And again, all of these pages that I'm doing are going to be complementary in the book. So they are all going to work together. Here's my sepia again. I'm almost out of that bottle. I have a brand new bottle on the side. I'm going to mix it with the bronze. Look how green how gold that goes. I'm finding with this new rubber roller, it's like having tires on pavement that are too deflated and they grip the road. This roller is really gripping that gel plate. So if I press too hard, it lifts the color off instead of spreading it around. You shall soon see what I mean. Anyway, here we go. A new stencil. All those areas that you see that are white, that's the mask. And all of that is going to be transparent on the tissue paper, so that later on when I glue that down onto as collage, all those areas of white, that's going to be transparent and pick up anything that I glue it down on top of. And now is the ghost print, which is going to be all of the actual detail. A lot of fun, so organic. It reminds me, I've done a lot of traveling and off-grid traveling as well, and hiking and biking in Utah and Arizona, and I love the desert. I love petroglyphs especially, and even though these aren't obvious petroglyphs, it reminds me of petroglyphs. So who knows where I'm going to take this book and what directions I go, but all these colors of the Payne's gray, the blues, these are all actually happy desert colors. And it is a happy place for me, so that's why I wanted to do this book with a new set of colors. You've seen me do all the brights. Let's have fun with a new color palette. Again, if I press really lightly, it doesn't smear, it doesn't lift. But look what's happening. Again, those colors are reacting to the gel plate and separating into little splotches. That's a lot of fun. And what I'm doing now, I know I'm gonna love this stencil. It's like a big open loose basket weave, and oh, this is gonna be amazing. Absolutely amazing. Just love this stencil. I'm pressing really hard in the areas where the weave is closer together, because that's harder to lift the paint, and I really want to pick up the effect of the weave. I didn't get all of it, but that's okay. Again, it's quite organic. Now this has got quite a navy blue black kind of effect. It's not so bright, but there's a use for every one of these pages. Look at that. What I especially love, absolutely am crazy in love with this, is that you've got this undulating color throughout the weave. And not only that, but you've got print of those lines. Within those lines of basket weave, you've got prints and shapes and patterns. This is just crazy amazing. I love it. Look at that. So interesting. You couldn't get that if you used a heavy paste paint with this mask. It only worked because a translucent paint is reacting with the gel plate. And I didn't roll it on really heavy, and I didn't roll it perfectly. Again, as I said at the beginning, if you mix Payne's Gray and Sepia and keep it quite dark, now it's showing up fairly blue and green again, but if I would have done a heavier paste of that Sepia and a heavier paste of that Payne's Gray, it would have come out almost black. Look at that separation again. That's so fun. Absolutely amazing what it's doing. And I love how it undulates and changes the pattern. And now that's going to show up again with this stencil and create an even more interesting stencil than it would have been if it was just a solid heavy paste color. I'm going to give a good press in the areas where I really want the detail to be obvious. So fun. Every single one of these pulls I'm overjoyed with. I haven't made one yet that I don't like. Look at how that changes from dark to light and disappears. Really amazing. This is going to end up being a true tabletop book for me because I'm going to have so much fun looking through it when the whole thing is finished. Oh, look at that. That's so fun. And look at how I'm just pulling a few. I'm pulling the weave aside to show you that you can get a contrast in patterns and textures, but they are complementary because they're all from the same colors. Let's get a little more of the gold down, the bronze, I mean. They call it bronze, but it's, no, actually it was iridescent. Yeah, I think it was called iridescent bronze, but it's pretty gold. Here's where I'm going to show you how the rubber on the brayer is so tacky, and I love this color. Look at it. There's another color right there if I use the Payne's Gray and spread it around just like that. But every time I pressed harder to smush it around more, what I was doing is lifting the color off the plate. So I had to do this a few times and just getting used to it. A new brayer and a very clean. What I did, the jelly plate's been used quite a bit, but the last time I used it, I gave it a good cleaning with Murphy's Oil soap, and that cleaned it and conditioned it. And that's why everything's just ever so slightly more oily, and that's why the paint is separating as well. Again, I thought, oh, I had to press harder to smush the gold in, but in doing that, pressing harder, I lifted more of the blue, so it was quite a back and forth battle. And I don't mind showing you this because it's all part of the process. So I tried to smush hard for the gold, and all I did was lift more of the blue. But I love how it changes from left to right on the jelly plate. You've got heavier color on the left, disappearing to nothing on the right. And when I pull that, because there was so much lifted off of it, a lot of the white shows because of the basket weave, and I am crazy in love with this print. And I love how it changes. I'm really going to enjoy using this. That one pull had so many different areas of interest. I really appreciate your support. I'm trying to reach people like you who want to learn some new techniques. As you've seen in all my videos, I'm not teaching you to draw or be an artist. I'm teaching you that you can be an artist without drawing skills. That's the fun of this technique. Look at how amazing this one is. Absolutely love that one. Now it pretty much stuck to that plate. Not a lot of the dark color is pulling off, but what is pulling off is a lot of light detail, and I like that. That's going to be very useful as well if I want to tone down a page. If I want to glue that over top of something else, it'll tone it down. I love this as it is. I'm going to use matte medium, which is clear, to lift that off instead of putting white down. I don't want a lot of white. And now I put way too much matte medium. It's way too wet. It's not even going to lift it. And as I spread it around, and I'm just using that brayer ever so lightly, by the way, but what it's doing is it's activating some of that Payne's gray that was on there. Now I'm going to pull this off. It's way too wet, and I know I'm not going to keep this. I could put that aside and let it dry, but I'm not going to keep that. I'm going to pull another sheet right away of tissue print before this dries. Hopefully I can lift more of that off the plate. Now, in order to get a lot of that off the plate, I have to press hard, and I actually have to leave it on the plate a little longer. But the problem with leaving tissue paper too long on the plate is it can stick to it when you go to pull it back. So it's a fine line. You've got to sort of practice that. I just want to get more of the detail to pull off. And a lot of it did come off in a very interesting pixel kind of pixelated pattern. Who knows, that might be useful too. I didn't throw that out. It looked like it, but it was just me setting it aside. I want to lift all of this off the plate, so I'm going to use white and roll it all over, and hopefully I can get all that lifted off. If I end up being able to use it as a print, who knows? I will if it's usable. Oh, and again, it activated some of that Payne's gray that was there. There's so much pigment in that Payne's gray. Look at that circle that just appeared. I didn't plan on that, but look what happened. That's what I love about when I have gel printing days. I'm just on top of the moon over the moon because it's just so fun. It's such a surprise. Every time I do it, I get surprises. I don't know why I got that shape there, but I did, and I'm happy with it. And it lifted a lot off the plate. Now this has got a lot of white in the background, and when I collage that over top of something else, a lot of that's going to cover anything below because there's so much white in there. But I might have a day where I want a page where I need a lot of the white. Now this time I'm going to pull that stencil out, but I want to do a pattern within a pattern. So I want to do the bubble wrap and then that over top to see if I can get a pattern within shapes. When I designed children's wear, infant wear, one of my favorite collections, I called it Collage. I did a whole bunch of mix and match patterns for the girls and the boys' colorways, and it was so fun. Left and right of a sleeper would be different patterns. It was just a really fun project. I loved it, and that's what I want to do with this book today. Because of my background and my career, I did a lot of textile printing and design, and I can't get that out of me. I love doing it. I love creating textures, prints, patterns, and I love mixing them and combining them. So you're going to benefit from that. Look at these fun dots. So fun. They're dots, but they're organic dots. So before I lift that, I want to put this mask down, and we'll see what happens. Again, it undulates and changes throughout the page. There's not ink everywhere or paint. But look at that. Interesting. And again, anything that shows up white is going to be transparent when I glue it down. And then look at this. This is the reverse, where I've got all these shapes with the patterns within it, and that's exactly what I was going for. So happy with this. My heart and my soul is just singing today. I think this is the best gel printing session I've done in in my last 2 years of jelly plate printing. I'm just having so much fun today. And again, I want to pull out a few examples of what can go with it. Look at that. Completely different patterns, but they work. Next week, the video will be the starting of the book and doing collages in the book. I probably won't have to do a lot of paint in the book because I've got so many varieties. Look at that beautiful blue. That looks like phthalo blue. Really fun. What I love about these fluid acrylic, golden acrylic paints is that they're so full of pigment, and it really, the colors change depending on how strong they are out of the bottle or how watered down they get. They're so versatile. Let's do some more bubbles. Lots of fun. This time I'm going to do the gold print and have the bubbles in the background. See what happens. I might not like it, but I'm not usually a gold fan, but I'm trying to step out of my comfort zone this time with this project and do other combinations. That's quite fun. And really, it might look phenomenal when I find a page for it. Quite fun. All from a sheet of bubble wrap. I need a little more gold. And it's still got some of that blue, Payne's gray on the roller. I knew I would like that bubble wrap, so I'm just doing a few sheets of it because I know that's going to be very, very fun in my book. And I know I'm going to use quite a bit of it. Yeah. And look how iridescent it goes from blue to gold, just like a fish skin. That's fun. I could do this all day or till the cows come home, but there's only so much room on the floor beside me to put out all these sheets, so eventually I'll have to stop. I don't even mind that some of those didn't roll down and there are a bunch of circles everywhere. That's kind of fun. We'll see what happens. If I was going to do a collage of fish, this would be a very popular sheet. Look at that. A little more subtle. So it gives me options. The floor on my left is full of these tissue prints now. I want to lift all this and clean the plate. My whole purpose is just to clean that off the plate, but then I decided, let's get some of this basket weave in white because I know I'm going to like that. So the first pull is going to be the negative, where all the white goes in the negative areas, and that's fun. A lot of fun. And I love how some of it looks like checks, and some of it looks like just organic shapes. That's a lot of fun. Really like that one. And look at this when I pull it back. I know I'm going to appreciate this on one of my busy pages, just to have a white basket weave. A lot of fun. Just so happy with this. So I thought it was cleaning the plate, but I ended up getting a good lift out of it. It's very subtle, but there'll be a page where I'll want subtle. Now I'm going to use the matte medium again because I'm going to try and lift this as it is. And they've got way too much again, so I'm rolling that off. Let's see if I can lift that off. Again, it's activating some of the blue. We'll see what happens. Very wet, that matte medium. So I'm going to pull the first one and just throw it out, but quickly grab another tissue before it dries and see if I can lift all that off the plate. I'm going to have to press quite a bit, even though I cut that out, and I'm going to have to wait a little longer so that it gets as much of the paint off the plate as possible. It's lifting pretty good. Plate's coming out clean. And a whole different effect of a print, and I'm not throwing that out because I might want it. So here's my colors. I wanted to show you, now we've got a bunch of prints, but when we work on the book, I want to show you that we will paint with these colors as well, so that we can put prints over top of solid colors and bring them out. We're going to do a lot of playing with painting these colors and the prints. So what I'm trying to do is show you these are my first three colors. Now I had too much of the sepia on the brush, so that Payne's gray should look more navy than that. It's coming out a bit bronze. I should have cleaned the brush better. So I'm just going to, you can see even when I wet the brush to clean it, there was more water on the brush, and it just activates that paint and makes it look more blue. And then if I've got paint on the brush from the blue, and then I touched the sepia, it went green. I'm just showing you, I'm babbling here, but I'm trying to show you that we're creating more options for a color palette now with those three colors and white. And I won't use black. So here's my white. So there's my color range. There's the sepia. And because, look at how gold that goes when it's got more water. That's the new bottle of sepia, and I should have shaken it because I have a feeling the darker brown in that bottle is at the bottom. But anyway, that's a beautiful color, and it shows you when we activate it with water what we can get. So let's put some white down and then play around with options, how the white changes the color. Look at that. If I use the Payne's gray and add it to white, I get a beautiful blue, and it looks so phenomenal with that gold and with the other colors. And now if I add white to the sepia, I get a nice creamy gold color as well, but not it matches the gold, but it's not gold. It's just it matches, but they're going to be different. It won't be shiny and iridescent. And now let's add a little more of the sepia. Ooh, I made a mess. Just wanted to put some solid sepia from that bottle back down. So look at the colors I've already got. We're gonna alter this book so drastically next week. Here's my colors, and there's my prints. There's my main colors. And then you can see all the other options that we can go from there. We haven't even begun to show you where we can go. So amazing, the choices. I don't want to go too much into the green. And then this color on the left is quinacridone Nicolazo gold. And that's so strong, and it's my favorite color. Look how red it looks right out of the tube. And then when you add water, that's the same color, but adding water, it becomes bright, like Indian yellow. So look at all these happy colors. I can't wait to do this journal. I just can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. So here's all the reveal. I want to show you that when you have those clear areas, it's going to show transparent and show anything below. Love how organic these are. This is a happy day. And it won't mean that I'm going to use all sections of these pages. I might just cut out one element of it. Like, it's just that I want to have a lot of choices. Look at that, how iridescent that is. There's my bronze, which is quite gold. I just want to show you with all that gold, and then I've got transparent that I could place it over top of busy areas below, like this organic stuff. And even though that looks still quite white, once I add glue to it and collage it down, it'll become transparent and pick up those patterns beneath. That's a fun one right there. This one's very busy, but who knows? I love these basket weave ones. I'm just really crazy about them. Every part of that. I had no idea when I started this session what I was going to get. And look at here, it just shows you where the transparent areas are, how it can pick up something below and dramatically change the effect. Gradually getting lighter. Again, if you put that over top of something else, look what it does. Look at how it alters. We're going to have so much fun next week. I guarantee it. I like this one a lot as well. This one's subtle, but it'll be useful. That one's very, very busy, but I might need a busy. That area is different. I'm not quite sure, but I'll probably use it. This one's amazing. If I want really dark pages of blue and white, this one was strictly the pull. I didn't film it for you, but I was just cleaning the plate off and I decided to keep that pull. So these are so fun, so different. Every single one of these pages works with one of the other pages. They're all good. So many possibilities. And I have no idea where we're going to go with it. It's going to be happy. And look at that. Look how it brightens it up. I might even just brighten it up by just doing lines and dots and things. So here's the reveal of all my prints. So happy with them. You've got to get a gel plate. If you don't already have one, you've got to get one because it's so much fun. Love it, love it, love it. I want to thank you for joining me. I can't wait to join you next week. I hope you've made a book. I hope you got a gel plate. I hope you make some of these tissue prints because I want you to join me in the fun. Have a great day, everybody.